Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Crypto Logic Podcast. My name is Mike. This is your co-host, John. And the goal on our channel is to create generational wealth through logic and understanding. So if that's something you can get behind, definitely subscribe to the channel. Like the video if you find something helpful. With that being said, let's dive into the show.
It goes a little something like
Now, guys, honestly, we said we're going to bring Dante on every week. We got Dante on yet again. But this episode in particular, and episodes moving forward, are going to be a little different. We're going to go in with passive income as a topic of today's show. So everything like, the news articles and things of that nature, it's going to be surrounded by passive income. And then we're going to, ask Dante about, some of his strategies and what he wants to do with passive income. So first off, how you doing, Dante? How you doing, man?
Good. Thank you. Good to be back as always. I enjoy my time here. It's always a good time. So.
Yeah, brother. It's always a good time to have you on. So, and as you guys see, we did switch it around. You know what I'm saying? It didn't make Dante just look like, oh yeah, Dante's here. Now he's a part of the team now. You know what I'm saying? So, we had to do a little designing on the back end, but I think it looks overall pretty good.
It looks great, man.
Great. It's overall pretty good. You guys let us know in the comment section down below as well. And if you guys don't know who DANTE DeFi is, all of his information is down in the description. We will be linking one of his videos as well. So, anytime throughout the video, you're probably going to see it. You just go ahead and over there and click that as well. So subscribe to Dante, do all that fun YouTube-y stuff. And then I guess we could just hop into the show. So I guess we're going to go into the overall market cap. Guys, we do this every single day. And the total crypto market cap on the entire crypto space is sitting at $2.49 trillion. Up about almost a percentage on the day. Bitcoin's been doing pretty good, Dante. How have you seen with Bitcoin sitting at just chilling at 62,000? What are you thinking about that?
I mean, honestly, I haven't been. There's been times, of course, most of the time when I would say basically the last 3 months before Bitcoin actually got to 62K. It's like you're looking at the charts every day because you don't know what's going to happen. But for whatever reason, I just feel confident that it's pretty obvious at this point that most likely we're going to hit all-time highs, and it's just a matter of when, not if. So it's I'm not paying attention to the charts anymore, really, because it's like you notice people are too concerned. In my opinion, are too concerned with their alts, because alts are not going to perform well when Bitcoin's got all the attention.
Right. Yeah. I think alts are going to start pumping once Bitcoin breaks all-time high, does whatever it does, and then starts trading sideways, kind of consolidating. That's when the alts are going to start pumping.
That means that there's time for people to accumulate.
Yeah.
You have a little window. You have a little window before that happens. And Bitcoin touched 63,000. It's
literally a hop and a skip away.
Yeah. It's I don't know what else needs to be done for it to break all-time high.
Do you think the ETFs were going to play a part in that or making it go all-time high? Or do you think that's more buy the rumor, sell the news type?
I think the ETF stuff is it's always going to be overhyped a little bit. Just because it's whenever there's any kind of good news, it's always over the top what people expect the effect of it to be. Same thing with Cardano smart contracts. It was once smart contracts come out, everything's Cardano's just going to go up for 6 months straight without stopping. But really, what has happened? Nothing really. It's always overhyped. I think that's the main message of all crypto in general most of the time.
It's funny, us as influencers, right? I know we play a smaller role as far as subscribers and things of that nature, but I feel like us as a whole, all the crypto influencers, I feel like we pump prices too. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about it
inadvertently,
it's not directly oh, it's this person or it's that person. It's as a collective, you know what I'm saying? Because other people look at our channels and they're like, oh, well, they're talking about it. I want to just jump into it. They take our not financial advice for advice. And, they kind of ape into it. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting, man. It's one of those things. It's
I think in regards to the news of ETFs, the ETF thing it's gonna be sort of a sporadic event because it's not just a one all end all type of thing. It's once one ETF was approved, that means that multiple and other ETFs are going to be approved by different other venture capital groups.
I think so.
There's one that's going to launch on October 22nd. There's going to be a couple that launch in November, and then so on and so forth. It's going to keep newer asset groups, venture capitalists, all that stuff, they're going to create their own product for ETFs, and that eventually will, I think, affect the price of Bitcoin, but not like right now. Just like, oh, today the first ETF was launched. That's not going to do anything. It's going to be the accumulation of all these other big companies launching their product.
Yeah.
One after the other, one after the other. Now there's going to be like 15, 20 different ETFs. And then as these millionaires and billionaires come in and meet with their advisors, financial advisors, they're going to be shown a little piece of paper and say, hey, we have a new product, Bitcoin ETF, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay. And that's when you're going to start seeing, okay, I want to put $1 million in. I want to put, 10% of my portfolio in. And then that's when you're going to start seeing more money flow into Bitcoin from these millionaires and billionaires we don't know about.
I feel like the baby boomers are going to be the ones allocating some of their funds to ETFs, as opposed to like doing the route that we spoke about with Mark Cuban, going and actually investing directly into Bitcoin.
He said. He's like, I'm not buying ETFs because I could just buy it myself, but he's tech savvy. These guys aren't gonna go ahead and download MetaMask or download Coinbase or anything. They're gonna have these companies that are creating this product for them. And yesterday I made a TikTok. They're already looking at an Ethereum ETF now. They're already looking at how they're gonna use. See, so it's gonna be one after the other.
It's kind of inevitable.
They're gonna suck up all these cryptos. Think about it. They're gonna do Ethereum. They're gonna do Polkadot. They're gonna start finding out about all these sleepers in their mind, what we've known about, but they don't know about it.
Yeah.
They're gonna be, oh, we want this one. We want that one. We want this one.
Honestly, moving past Bitcoin though, Ethereum, I can't wait for Ethereum 2.0 to come out, man. Because like I really want to go into the DeFi, like Ethereum on the DeFi platform, like work with all of the dApps and smart contracts that is on Ethereum, but it's just too expensive, man. The barrier to entry is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to start off with $1,000, technically you won't even start off with 1,000. You'll start off with like 920 after you pay the freaking gas fees. And then if you interact with all of these protocols, each time you're going to be paying 30, 40, 50. And it's like, dude, how are you making money in reality? That's why I feel like everyone went to Polygon, because it's like, it's Ethereum, but it's hella cheaper. So much cheaper cents compared to dollars. So, but I think once Ethereum 2.0 comes out, we could potentially see a $10,000 to $15,000 Ethereum, maybe, possibly.
Ethereum's gonna do its thing in the DeFi world, and then on top of the real world, once the corporate finance real world, once they have their eyes on it, just like how they have their eyes on Bitcoin, they're gonna have their eyes on Ethereum, and Ethereum is primed in position to take over Bitcoin, I think, as a number one.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, every what always happens when a bull run comes, right? Bitcoin goes up first. Everyone gets euphoric. They take their profits and then they funnel it into alts. Yeah. Ethereum is the major alt that they're going to go into after they take their profits.
There's so much room to grow too.
That's what I believe is going to happen. Bitcoin's going to go up, whether it goes to 70 to 80,000. They're going to pull their profits from it. They're going to be like, all right, cool. Now it's time for me to, I only double my money on Bitcoin. Now it's time for me to 7x my money, 10x my money. I'm going to put it into Ethereum to get my 5 to 7 to 10 potentially X on that. And then whatever other altcoins, I could potentially get 100X on those. So, you know what I'm saying? The money that they made, the 2X they made from Bitcoin is going to turn into a 100X, 1,000X potentially after they, took their profit. So it's going to be pretty interesting.
Oh, Cardano got leapfrogged by Binance.
It did get leapfrogged by Binance. Crazy. That's kind of crazy.
That's what it gets for just sitting there.
Well, I mean,
I'm just kidding.
I mean, okay, so Charles Hoskinson, he said that the smart contracts, the first ones that launched, it wasn't technically meant for those to be the ones that you invest in. It's more so there for it to know that Cardano smart contracts work.
Yeah.
Implemented correctly.
It's the second wave that was supposed to make Cardano kind of, you know what I'm saying? And just face value, no one will know that unless you deep dive and figure that information out. So I don't see Cardano moving as much until that happens, though we'll probably see some price appreciation in the bull market, but it won't be to where everyone believed it, or even we believed it. I said $10, but I don't even know if it would hit that this
$6 or something, $6 to $8, huh?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm leaning more towards that. What do you think, Dante?
I think probably like $6 or $7, and expecting it to go to 10 would be dangerous. I think either way, the thing is, with Cardano, if it goes to even $5, there's some people who could have gotten in January for 30 cents.
Yeah.
Like, are you not satisfied with that? At that point, it's like, you know, you've probably done 500% on your investment.
Yeah,
what else can you expect? How
but
much
most
more?
most people are they have this mentality of hodling, right? Which is great. You know, I'm not saying, you know, don't. But it's to a certain extent, like even like Quant, when we had that conversation with you with Quant, a lot of people were like, oh, you know, you're still early at $400. And it's like, well, yeah, you're still early because it could potentially hit 10,000, but it's not going to hit 10,000 this bull run. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be holding that for, you know, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 years.
There's more. See, this is the thing. This was the amount of risk I was willing to put in at least at the start of the year was, remember when we went to 60K or we hit our first all-time high and then we crashed and we had that 3 months of nothing.
Oh yeah, brutal.
Yeah.
The logic there was, all right, listen, we could probably end up having this be a bear market for 2 years. It could. Like, the cycle could not, you know, ever come back at the end of the year. And the only point was things like Quant are just good for knowing that they'll probably still be around in 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's like whatever money you put in, you can at least say, listen, I'm going to make it back once everything recovers. But now that we're back at a point where we are going to go to all-time highs, yes, we're early to Quant, but it's like, are you going to hold for the next 4 years?
Exactly.
Because we're nowhere, in my opinion, we're not near the point of this is where we hold for, you know, this is like, if you look at Amazon, everyone uses it. It's like Amazon had this massive overvaluation, massive run up, and then had a huge crash.
Yep.
And then just kept going steadily up.
Over
That's
time.
what's going to happen to crypto.
Crypto. Yeah.
I'm expecting that to happen. So it's like, I'm going to sell Amazon at whatever it is, or Quant at whatever it is when it's completely overvalued, just so I can buy more of it so that I can literally just create. Then that's when it's truly like, that's when Quant and all of these different cryptos will truly be like what we want them to be, which is like a safe haven, store of value, utility asset, like an asset that has scarcity, utility, all of those things. Those are all great.
Yeah.
When everything's actually being utilized. Clearly, like look at Chainlink, for example, great fundamentals, but it's not being utilized at all.
And you're just holding it.
The price will never sustain the value, like the valuations the retail investors are giving it. Like $53 for Chainlink isn't justified yet because like people are partnering with Chainlink, but they're not using it yet in their applications because their applications aren't even built yet.
Yeah,
so
it's still so early.
It's so early. That's a good thing though, because that means, for one, you don't have to hold your crypto for 3-4 years. You can sell out of all your crypto, still make a lot of money, use some of that money to do whatever the hell you want with, and then also be absolutely ready for when it's time to reinvest. And then
I'm glad you brought that point up, because John brought it up the other day. But most people don't understand that, right? They're like, I'm holding until it gets to $10,000, right? So, but from your understanding, it's like, okay, well, me personally, I don't think Quant will hit 10,000 until it's fully implemented. Like, people are actually using it for what it does. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's just my opinion. And most people are like, well, I'm just going to hold it. I'm not even going to take profits from it. But if Quant goes to $1,000 per Quant and you bought it at, you know, $20, $10, why wouldn't you take any profit from that and then buy back in? Are you going to buy back in at $100? Probably not, but you're still going to make money.
Yeah. I think you have to look at it like this mainly, or at least this is what I tell myself, so that, you know, don't, you know, like, be humble, like in the sense, like I'll tell myself that, because it's like, I'll look at the amount of returns I've had on all of these cryptos, and realistically, I could cash out right now and be, you know, I should be very satisfied with where I am. Right. But the reality is, because we are in crypto, it's like, we're not satisfied until we literally see life-changing gains. Right. And that's not realistic. Like in any other market, that's completely unrealistic. When I invest in, or when anybody probably, when you're investing in stock market, when you're investing in anything really outside of crypto, you're expecting the same amount of returns maybe in 10 years. Yeah. Which is ridiculous when you think about it. Like, where my money will go after I cash out of crypto, it's going into, you know, like ETFs and things that are in emerging markets that I don't expect to give me a return for years and years and years. So it's like,
Right.
be humble about no matter how much you've put in and no matter what the potential is of, you know, if quant goes to 10K, it goes to 10K. Keep 5% of your quant, sell the rest of it. Not financial
Exactly,
advice,
man.
but that's just like if that happens. But realistically, the people who are getting up or the people who are buying at the prices that are going to take quant to 10,000 are people who are not going to be able to hold
No.
if it starts going down. They're the ones who will panic and they will be the exit liquidity for
A lot of people.
basically
new
everybody.
Yeah.
And the institutions aren't going to hold either. They're not going to hold Bitcoin forever. Or at least they're not going to hold Bitcoin if they think that, you know, it's going to go to 50% of what it's worth at the time. So if it
Right,
goes to
they're gonna dump it,
250K,
and
they're going to
yeah.
dump that.
They're gonna dump it, 100%.
Yeah. I think that a lot of
It's a good point.
yeah, and you leave a lot of money on the table just by holding and focusing on one or two cryptos when there's at this moment in time there's potential like in a lot of places, especially if you know how to do research. Because like if you just focus on
Yep.
one or two cryptos, you're banking on it for years when there's like so many other ones that will price appreciate and make you enough money to then play and put more in, pack your bags into where you want your long-term holds. 'Cause you leave a lot of money on the table just by focusing on one or two or three or four that you hold when there's 12,000 of them out there.
Yeah.
Obviously 80% of them are all BS anyway. But
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know,
I mean,
I would use Chainlink
leave
as an
you-
example,
You
really.
leave a lot of money on the table when you don't take profits. I feel like, you know, not everybody wants to take profits, you know, because they don't want to pay taxes or whatever. But in this episode, we're going to be talking about more of passive income. So we're going to be talking about ways that you don't even have to, you know, take profits. You can literally allocate it to an AMM, or, you know what I'm saying, put it into a borrow and lending platform like Aave. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many ways that you can actually do this, guys.
You
And
know,
it's not
yeah.
just buy and sell, you know, it's deeper than that.
you don't have to move your money into the real world. It stays in crypto forever.
Exactly. That's a whole nother thing. Everyone always wants to put it back into fiat.
Or your
It's like,
bank account.
why?
They created
Yeah.
debit cards for your crypto now too.
Exactly.
So you never have to go back to fiat.
Why are you going back to that?
Yeah.
Ugh. Bro,
Yeah.
honestly, every time I get like, say I get like $100, I'm like, crypto. It's just like a
It does nothing.
reflex,
it does
man.
nothing sitting in your bank account.
It really does
Just
it.
pay your bills, pay your real life expenses, and then whatever's left, move it into crypto. And then you can still use that money if you can go buy food, but you just use it on the debit card. And you know what's awesome? When you do that, you get rewarded for using it. Like
Yep.
the Coinbase
Yep.
card, you get 4%. They're adding new ones every day. You get Ethereum, you get Solana, you can get paid in XLM, et cetera, et cetera. That's just one example. You get paid for using that card anyway, so you get free crypto on top of it.
Yep, and then Crypto.com has a CRO card.
Yeah.
And every time you use that, you get, you know, CRO. So that's just passive income.
Put all your bills on.
and
You can put your bills on there.
it's crazy. When I first learned about crypto, man, I honestly, like, if I would have listened to the narrative that, you know, crypto's a scam, it's a Ponzi scheme, this, that, or the other, I would probably be on the narrative like, oh, you know, this is not real. This is
It's like too good to be
it's
true.
too good to be true.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as when you grow up as a kid, you always hear if it's too good to be true, it probably is. You know, but I feel like crypto defies that.
DeFi.
Well, that wasn't no pun intended, but it defies that. You know what I'm saying? It's like if it's too good to be true, we know it's not going to last, but it will last to a certain point to where you can capitalize on it and then get out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it is what it is, man. XRP sitting at $1.08. Solana, we talked about the other day, trying to get back to 160. I think it will, man. There's a lot of DeFi stuff going on with Solana. Only problem with it is it doesn't connect to Ethereum right now. There's no bridge for it.
No bridge.
That's the only thing that I think is hurting Solana in that sense. When it first had that like little outage or whatever, I felt like that definitely did damage it a little bit, but more so Solana is its own ecosystem. Like once you're in Solana, you're heavily invested in Solana. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you can swap from Solana and then go to Ethereum and then go to Luna, and then there's no bridges for that yet. So I think until they get that bridge, Solana will kind of stay. The price appreciation will be because people are constantly using Solana as the platform and not, things of that nature. So sorry, Dante had to step out real quick, but he'll be back. Once he does, I'll bring his camera back. Polkadot is doing pretty good as well. It's up almost 20% on, the day. Dogecoin, it did go up a little bit, but now it kind of plateauing. I think it went to what, 26 cents, John? I think so. And then it dipped.
Which one?
Dogecoin.
Oh yeah, it hit 26 cents. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it dipped back down to 24 cents. Uniswap is doing now. Uniswap, go ahead. What
Do you think that Uniswap is gonna be powerful in the future, like a heavy hitter, or join the $100 club and be utilized?
I don't know.
Do you just see it something as just low key, just like? Oh,
I don't like the DeFi. The thing about Uniswap or any of them is that I don't like the products. I think we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
It's like Uniswap at the end of the day is a product. It's like a facilitator, sort of. But like, there's no reason anyone's going to have to use Uniswap over anything else, because I think there's going to be a product that is using Uniswap and all of these different exchanges for liquidity, but they already have like basically the concept with like things like ZCX or LCX is doing the same thing, where they're just gonna be places for what they will be is like places for people to put their liquidity.
Yeah,
that's what they'll be used
you don't
for
have
more
to
than
use
they will be
Uniswap.
to exchange.
You can use SushiSwap. SushiSwap is better in that sense.
I just don't think people will use it as an exchange, also because they have the very basic traditional DeFi layout, and people like that because it's like, I don't know, I don't think people want it to change because they like the way it is. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's like the OG DeFi.
Yeah, is
look.
it because it's one of the first ones? Is it one of the originals?
Yeah,
For
but it's
Ethereum,
just
I
not
think,
intuitive to most people because it's not intuitive, period. And so what will happen is there's going to be layers.
Better.
There's literally things that will just take the liquidity, and I think it'll be the price of the token will go. I mean, I don't know the utility, to be honest, of Uniswap, but if there's something to do with liquidity, then it's going to do well. But I don't think it's not going to be something, well, I could be totally wrong, but I don't think it's going to be something that is like, we're going to wish we got
Like a
into
standard
Uniswap.
type of crypto.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it will be like an industry standard for liquidity, and they're already on. I think they're on Grayscale, and like
Yeah, they're in
institutions
these
are aware of
they're in
them.
these portfolios. I don't know.
So they
that's what
have
I'm
the
thinking.
recognition. They have the recognition.
I think they're one of the first. It's like easy to like say, oh, they've been around for years. It's safe, but I'm telling you, I think once they get hip to the technology of crypto, and they start polling crypto experts, people like us or anything like that, or you know what I mean, people out there that like, talk about crypto all day, and they start polling them and hiring them to be in their ear, and they start learning about crypto. That's when we're gonna start seeing like, oh yeah, you're gonna start seeing the top 25, top 50 change.
Yeah, I mean, next year we're probably going to see the top 10 change.
Yeah,
Again, the top 10 is
top 100.
Top 10 has changed a lot.
Yeah.
In the past, I've only been into crypto this year, but from what I've read and from what I've seen, the top 10 was totally different.
Yeah, the only three that stayed the same was Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP,
True.
which is
Everything
a
else.
testament to
everything
how
changes.
things can change. That's 7 cryptos that are just not there.
Yep. The Luna ecosystem is doing pretty good. Go ahead. What do you want to say?
No, it's just interesting because we're gonna talk about this later. Is like in 2017, right?
Mm-hmm.
DeFi wasn't as isn't as relevant, not even relevant, as prominent as it is today. Because DeFi is just getting started. But back in 2017, you were only just buying and selling crypto, like buying and waiting for price appreciation, right?
Yeah.
DeFi was the landscape of it wasn't really built out yet at all.
It was very, very.
It was in its very early stages.
Very early stages. I mean, it was kind of like, when you first had to buy Bitcoin, you had to do all this extra stuff, and most people didn't want to do it because they didn't know how to do it, right? But DeFi is the same way.
It's starting to become, in a few years, DeFi will be standard and be. You're not in DeFi. People look at you like, you buy crypto, but you're not in DeFi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't do anything about yield. You don't know anything about staking. You don't know anything about.
I found out what wrapped, like wrap Bitcoin, wrap Ethereum, wrap USDC. I figured out what wrapped is. It's so you can use it in the DeFi world. I didn't know that.
Yeah, without the fees.
Without the fees.
Mm-hmm.
I figured someone
like
someone
a blanket.
commented it on our in our comment section. They were like, yeah, bro, that's what it does. And I was like, oh, bro, thanks. Appreciate you. Because
Yeah.
I didn't understand what it was doing. Why.
They're
it's
starting
like,
to pop up now.
why would you have wrapped Bitcoin when you could just own Bitcoin? But Bitcoin doesn't talk to all the other protocols.
It talked.
So you got to wrap it, and it's basically tied to it. You know what I'm saying? It's not, give or take, this one's a little bit more.
Someone told me it's more
But-
dangerous though. Is that true, Dante?
I don't know about that.
More risky.
That's-
Wrap
that's-
ETH and wrap Bitcoin.
Matter of opinion, right?
It's an opinion thing.
I don't know. I don't know enough of the details of it. I just know what it effectively is for.
Oh,
Like, I just
okay.
know why they have wrapped tokens, which makes sense to me. But
Yeah.
I don't know anything past that, to be honest.
Yeah,
I haven't looked into it.
It might, because it's one of those things. Remember when we watched Dope, and then the whole thing, the whole narrative about Bitcoin back then was, it was
The
used
dark
for
web.
dark web and things of that nature. So maybe that's the same premise. Wrap Bitcoin might be dangerous, but
There wasn't exchanges back then.
if you want to accumulate it, if you want to accumulate ETH or Bitcoin, you're gonna have to wrap it if you're in a protocol like a Luna or a Polkadot, Avalanche, whatever.
That guy created an exchange in that movie, and there wasn't any exchanges. He's like, "You want me to create that swap for you? That exchange for you?"
Yep.
That's the crazy thing about it. People don't realize, like, he created an exchange to move his Bitcoin from fiat to Bitcoin. It's back and forth. That's simple as you can.
And that back then was like a revelation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Before a stable coin, before he just created a swap, basically.
I'm
That
really
just blows my mind.
I'm really looking at Avalanche, to be honest with you, Dante. I've been looking at Avalanche a lot. I'm not sure if Avalanche Rush has come out yet. I know they minted or hinted to it, but I don't know if it has come out yet. I got to do a little bit more research. Are you familiar with Avalanche Rush or no?
I'm not familiar. I've heard of it, but I'm not familiar. But I would say, like, in general, Avalanche is solid.
So,
Very solid.
so what Avalanche Rush is basically an incentive program for you to use their protocol, right? So I think they're going to allocate, $100 million to separate, like, different platforms. I think 20. Now, don't quote me on these numbers. It's probably going to be different, but just for argument's sake. Like 20 million is going to go to like Aave, and then 30 million is going to go to Curve Finance, and then 10 million is going to go to whatever other platform that they want you to use. These other
Is
liquidity
that article
platforms.
you sent me?
Yeah, yes, that, yes, exactly that. Yeah, send that to me so I can showcase what I'm basically talking about.
So we'll go to the news from here. It'll be perfect.
Yeah. So Stake DAO, right? This is a cryptocurrency. And Avalanche Rush allocates 3 million in AVAX incentives to stake on their platform. So if you were to stake AVAX on Stake DAO, then they would pay you extra AVAX tokens to use it. So that's basically what Avalanche Rush is going to do, and that's just straight DeFi. So it's gonna be pretty dope. But even in this article, it tells you how to add the Avalanche network, and basically how you showed us the other day with
we'll get into
with
that
time
too
and stuff. But yeah, so you would basically go to their website and open their app and things of that nature. I'm not gonna go into it now, but there's those options that you have. So all right, with that being said, I guess we can just go into the news. Yeah. So the U.S. Treasury has said that it must modernize and adapt to digital currencies. As you guys know, the U.S. and every other country in the world is all talking about crypto right now. A lot of a lot of countries like China or even El Salvador and things of that nature have been, China creating CBDCs and El Salvador adopting Bitcoin as legal tender. U.S. is kind of like the last ones to kind of get their stuff together. But this article is like, look, we need to adapt and modernize, because if we don't, we're going to get wrecked.
That's why it seems like if you notice the news and you look at the crypto news and the politicians, it seems like they're scrambling. They're like, going after the SEC and the FCC. You know what I mean? It looks like they're jumbling and going all over the place, and people are arguing, bickering back and forth. And then they're not even getting the amendments right and inserting the rules and laws or whatever into the bills correctly. They're wording it wrong because they don't understand it.
Yeah.
And right here it says digital assets and payment systems could harm the efficiency of our sanctions if left unchecked. So that just basically means that if we let crypto run amok and run wild, people are gonna be making money and getting away with it and not being taxed for it. People are gonna be making a lot of money and they're gonna be free to run, and then it's gonna destroy our system that we have control over.
Yeah.
Because they have sanctions and it's just in regards of how financial institutions and regular people can make money. You know what I mean? Because like when you use a financial institution, they keep track of it. They know how much you're making, how much you're profiting, and how much they can tax you. If you're doing it on your own, there's no way that they can figure out how much you're making. You know what I mean?
I feel like they're playing with fire right now, because as you said, they are scrambling and messing things up. But I feel like majority of people are still oblivious to this information. You know what I mean? Because like they're more focused on what you got to get this in your arm, or you got to, the left, the right, the blah, blah, blah. They don't even know nothing about this. You know what I'm saying?
They're worried about people wearing masks.
They're
people
worried about
getting
all
shot,
this other
like
stuff.
getting that,
And I feel like if
That's what people are worried about.
Yeah,
Trying to cancel Joe Rogan because they
or
said
Dave Chappelle,
because he took horse medicine, or he didn't, but that's what they're saying. They're like, that's what they're. That's what
I
the news
know
is
about
like,
that.
planning, trying to cancel him, and Dave Chappelle and all that argument, and that's what the news is like pushing on everybody. And then there's literally a secret tunnel way of financial freedom here, that if you just look at it and you go down that rabbit hole, your life will change. And they're over here trying to figure out how to we gotta plug up these holes because a lot of people are gonna make money and we're not gonna be able to stop.
we're not gonna be able to find them.
Yeah, and it's gonna wreck the way that the system that they created in regards of their monetary system, of how how money is made and how it's taxed and how it's taken from us for them. You know what I mean?
Yo, Dante, what do you think about the sanctions that they want to put on crypto, as far as like creating CBDCs and things of that nature?
Trying to stop it. And
do
stuff.
you think it's good for the crypto space overall, or do you think it's going to just be a way for them to kind of control you in a sense of see how much money you have in your account, or limit you to what you can purchase or buy or anything like that? What do you think?
I think they will try. They will try and make it so that they have oversight.
Yeah.
They'll try and make it so that they are able to track everything. But the thing is, they will never be able to stop the decentralized versions of everything from continuing to occur. It's just like the example of China when they banned crypto exchanges, and then all the money immediately just started flooding into decentralized exchanges. The point is they can't stop it. It's like saying that they were like, someone's going to try and stop the internet from happening when Web 2.0 was happening. Yes, they could have stifled the growth of it for a while, but there was no stopping what was eventually going to come, because it is the natural progression of like interconnectedness. Like the same thing for, they call it Web 3.0 or blockchain, and like DLT is Web 3.0, but it's really just, we're going back to what the internet was supposed to be, a peer-to-peer network.
Yep.
So
Right.
it's just that like we realize that there's another level to the peer-to-peer network that needs to be maintained in order for it to truly stay peer-to-peer, which is the decentralized aspect of it. So I think there's nothing that's going to stop it. They can try. I mean, anyone can try and do what they want, but I look at Time, I look at Ohm, I look at all those decentralized autonomous organizations that have come out of nowhere, and like they have legitimacy in terms of, it's really up to the sentiment of the market whether this is successful or not. It has nothing to do with regulation. It has nothing to do with government.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really, really great point. Did you want to add something else to this, John?
Yeah. I guess apparently because how we deal with other countries in regards of moving money and sending cash and etc. There's like, this article also implies that we need to create a policy for structured framework, because a lot of countries, basically it's a problem because a lot of these countries are going to be able to make their own money and not rely on the US's money or our partners' money. And then when we, sanction is like when we basically put slap a wrist on his country and deduct how much money they get from us.
Right.
They're going to say, forget you, we'll make our own money. You know what I mean? And that's the problem that eventually leads from that world where it's like countries all the way down to the little man like us, where we don't need a bank anymore. Now we're making our own money over here, and that $1,000 can turn into $10,000 a month.
Yep.
And they have no idea how to touch it. And that's basically where the world is going to head. And I feel like they're freaking out. And they can't stop it. I don't think they'll be able to stop it, like Dante said, but they just want their oversight over it. But can they truly have it?
I mean,
in
a centralized world, yes, they can.
Unless they build their own type of thing to compete with it, because who's gonna want to? Only the sheeple will. People that don't know.
The people that don't understand will use centralized exchanges. They will use, you have to do KYC and things of that nature.
1% APY. They'll get 1% APY or something.
Exactly. But I mean, going to Dante's point, I don't think you can actually stop DeFi. Yep. It doesn't work the same way that centralized stuff works. So,
Yep. It's so crazy.
It's pretty dope.
That leads into
the next article that we're talking about has to do with some DeFi stuff. Polkadot, as you guys know, we talked about Polkadot a lot and why we believe Polkadot will continue to blossom with all the pair chains and the DeFi and stuff of that nature. But Polkadot's founder announced the $774 million development fund for DeFi. So they really want to lean into the DeFi space, and I'm really bullish on DOT, man.
Yeah.
The only thing that scares me a little bit is I read somewhere, and I don't know if this is true, so don't take it as a grain of salt, but I read somewhere that the dApps that are built under Polkadot will be dependent on what Polkadot does. Like if Polkadot goes up, then they will do well. If Polkadot goes down, then they will kind of suffer a little bit. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I did read that somewhere. Maybe I can get some more clarification on that. But that's only one of the things that I'm kind of worried about with DOT, and why I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards Cosmos. But I still like DOT as well. There's a lot of good things coming to it.
Before I pass it over, I just love that they're putting money up to develop DeFi, which is where if you're in the crypto space and you start learning and you start tapping into that side of it, you realize the potential there. From this point on to 3 years from now, it's gonna be insane if you learn about it now. Just like 2017, if you learn about market cap and all that stuff and utility, same thing. It's a new wave, just like NFTs, right? NFTs had their little wave. If you learn about NFTs, you could have got ahead and did really well in when NFTs were blooming.
Yeah,
DeFi is the next thing, I think.
I think so.
Whatever. Pass that over to Dante. What do you think about this?
What do you think about DOT announcing $700 million into DeFi, man?
To build their infrastructure.
I mean, I think it's just, the people who are involved in most of these projects, or these foundations at this point, they're all people who are very forward thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the example I use is what comes to my head is the people who made Web 2.0 what it is today, the people who started Twitter, Jack, all of those people are only recently woke up to Bitcoin and woke up
Mark
to the fact
Zuckerberg.
that, and the reason they love it so much now is because they realize they can also build smart contract platforms on Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Through stacks. Yep.
Exactly. But the thing is this has already been going on with people like the DOT ecosystem,
HBAR,
Luna, AVAX, HBAR, it's already happening. So it's you already know once enough people are aware of it, it doesn't make any more sense. It does, the world is only becoming more connected. We are all realizing we can all do our jobs from home. In fact, we can make a healthy living from never leaving our houses thanks to the internet.
Yeah.
So it's
that's the crazy part.
Once you realize all of these things, and I think for me at least, if people aren't waking up to the fact that COVID showed us so much stuff. I don't know if I keep saying that, and I'm not sure if we're not supposed to, but it showed us so much stuff in terms of, you don't really need to go into an office to do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you can spend a lot less time in the office and still get done what you need to do. So it's if people are critically thinking about those things, there's going to be a lot of people who wake up. And I think, a lot of people who have already woken up to that fact talk about it. It's it's just a matter of time before enough people, the demand for, better financial products, eventually everyone's going to look at, because inflation is a thing and really having dollars is not something that is sustainable to your long-term wealth. Once you understand that, you have to start the only other option then becomes, all right, I need to look into something to maintain my wealth or store my value. And it's very, very, very obvious that DeFi or crypto is the immediate answer to that. Whether it be NFTs, DeFi, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just that we have these digital assets. We have this digital property that's the most, scarce, yet abundant asset that we have because it's available to everybody.
Right.
But it's extremely scarce. It's not like we have to go digging in our backyard to find it, right? It's literally on the internet.
Yeah, but but the narrative around it, I feel is so murky, right? It's one of those things where it's okay, what do I had a guy ask me the other day, I got $100, what should I do with it? I didn't know how to answer that question. You know what I'm saying? It's I'm okay, but what do you want to do? What is your goal? I can't just be oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I can't
buy my
help
favorite
you.
token. Buy it.
You know what I'm saying? And he was oh, thanks, man. No thanks, but no thanks. And I was dude, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. What do you want me to say here? Okay, buy DOT. Like, what do you want me to say? You know,
No, like that-
I
that's
don't know
like-
what you want me to do here.
There's the only way to, for me, like that's what I mean. That's why I honestly made a channel too. Is like, there's a lot of reasons, obviously, that I enjoy the content creation side of it.
Right.
But one of them is like, the only way you're gonna get the most out of crypto, especially because it's so early on, is by understanding all aspects of it to the point where you don't need to ask anybody.
Anything.
You know what
Exactly.
you want to do with it.
Yeah.
You know what the next move is. You know what the next trend is. Right now, we're just following trends and speculation, but eventually it'll come down to what brings the most value to people. Like that will eventually matter. And so for now, we just follow trends. We follow the market, but eventually you want to understand the technology. You want to understand what is giving you the most value. What does make a good asset versus a bad one. Because when the time comes, you want to be able to use yourself as the only person you need in terms of consulting for those kinds of things. Because there's going to be so much noise. There's going to be so much garbage. Like there already is.
Yeah.
Exactly. I completely agree. I mean,
They won't be the first. I mean, they won't be the last that does this.
No, of course
getting
not.
funds and
Of course not.
and allowing
Avalanche Rush is one of them.
to grow and develop the DeFi space for their particular.
I'm pretty
crypto.
sure Cosmos is gonna be the next one that offers some type of
Reward
rewards to
and
you
this
to
is-
go to it.
This is just think about when the government's involved and when the government starts writing bills to fund things like this. That's gonna happen at some point in the future.
Yeah.
You know how like right now they say, oh, we're gonna allocate $1 billion for infrastructure for this program.
Yeah.
That's gonna eventually happen with crypto when it becomes normalized. Their government's gonna start implementing the cryptos that get friendly with the government. The cryptos that, hey, we're on your side. We wanna be safe with you. Imagine like Coinbase or something. They'll fund Coinbase, and Coinbase will create a DeFi product
Or FTX.
that they can actually track. That's the thing.
yeah.
See,
But it has to be centralized,
It'll
you know
be
that.
it'll be DeFi, but it'll be no, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't be DeFi.
It'd be CeFi.
It'll be centralized. It'll be centralized.
But that's the thing. That's what I meant to say. They're gonna create their competition to it, and they're not gonna be
Yeah.
able to get people like us that know. They're gonna get the people that want to do this, but are like the sheep that are like, oh,
They're
it's
gonna
safe
see-
over
yeah.
here.
They're
Okay,
gonna
my
see
money's backed. Okay,
8% APY, and they're
Yeah.
gonna ape into that.
and over here you get like 20,000, 400.
50,000.
You know what I mean? That's what I meant to say. They're gonna create their version to rival. They have to.
Yeah.
They have to.
But they'll
100%.
actually be, the point is there's actually going to be competition.
Mhm,
It's going to be, all right, listen, either you support the networks that are already bringing value to people, or it's, all right, you better think of a product that's good enough to compete with those decentralized,
Yeah.
financial instruments. And the point is, like, even with the dissemination of information, again, it all comes down to the internet and social media. It's like, there's like a changing of the guard in terms of like who is running running the country and the world, and the generations that are going into power are much different than the ones obviously coming out. Like, it makes sense that there's going to be a few more years of this just annoying, like,
Fuzziness. Just
fuzziness and back and forth between, should we go full in on crypto or not? Because there's so many people who have built wealth that are now in retirement,
At young ages, mind you.
that they built wealth. These are older generations that built wealth using dollars, and they are
Yep.
Mhm.
their financial world has revolved around dollars. So yes, it's going to be hard to adjust, but it's not going to be, it's not going to take as long as most people think, and it's also not going to be easy for, again, like, the government really to sit down and stop what's happening already, because everybody else. Also, the fact is that if you're just talking about the U.S. in general, look at the United Kingdom. They just announced the CBDC, the digital pound, which
Alright, yeah.
most people already knew if you were just paying attention.
Yep.
But now it's out in the public. All of the other superpowers are going to go in the direction of crypto because they know what's coming or what's already here. It's no longer
Yeah.
the future. It's already here. Like, we keep saying, crypto is the future, but if you think about it, crypto is here. DeFi is here. People are doing exactly what, we all thought was possible. And so now everything else around us has to adjust to that life that people are living.
Yeah. It's just crazy because the reason why I think for our country it's so difficult to get it going because the type of system that we created, the democratic democracy, like right.
Right.
We have to, in those, a lot of those countries, it's one person in power. Hey, this is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna do it.
And that's it.
You know, like over here, they have the
Yeah.
two sides and people bickering and drafting up things, and people got to vote on it, and which is great. You know, I'm not trying to make it political or anything, but that's why we're scrambling, because there's too many people not knowing what it is, having learned what it is, and people that know what it is, think what's best for them, what's best for the country, what's best for et cetera, et cetera.
Their state.
Yeah.
And all
that.
these other countries are just, hey, we're gonna do this, hey, we're gonna do that, hey, we're gonna. So they have a chance to get ahead because they're just, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. They don't have to vote. And then they're learning as they go. Like El Salvador, hey, we're doing this and do it. UK, hey, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that.
Yep.
We're gonna hire these really powerful crypto currency companies or whatever you want to call them to build our infrastructure. Go ahead, bring them in, come in, and you guys take over and do it for us. Africa, you know, like there's so many. Russia's even doing it. Like, and then the U.S. is over here just arguing. We're just arguing with ourselves.
Yeah, I think it goes beyond politics though. That's the point. It's like
Yeah.
it's like crypto doesn't have a political side. You
Yes.
can't have a stance that's political in crypto. You don't. So that's the great thing, is that like this is completely outside of the scope of trying to put it in a box where it's good for one side or the other. It's good for all sides if we nurture it and cultivate a you know, whether it be a place for ecosystems to thrive, like if the government is in support of that, or if they are creating just, you know, or they're just creating an environment where decentralized systems, the new internet, blah blah blah, can thrive. You know, it's going to bring value to everybody, and that's the point. And I think right now, obviously, if you are in a position of power, you know, politics is, you know, at the end of the day, all it is, you know, trying to acquire power or you know, gain power. That's what politics is. So if you look at it from that point, you know, yes, this is a huge loss of control for all of the, you know, general massive institutions, and then you know, bureaucracies
political figures
that are a part of part of our government, at least in the US. So it's like, yeah, we know this for a fact. Like things are slow here. Like there's a lot of checks and balances. Things are slow. It's always going to be.
It's a lot of red tape.
That's good and bad.
They try their best to push it back because hey, we need to be in front of it. We know what's best for you. We know, and it's like just work with. There's so many powerful, smart cryptos and smart the people that created it. Work with them, bring them in, like the UK did.
Yeah.
The UK did that.
I think they are. I
You know what I mean?
I think they
Eventually,
are.
eventually they will.
That's what the UK did. UK
I think
said,
they
hey,
already are. I think they really already are. It's just about the narrative that they're setting out to the world and
True.
everybody else.
Yeah.
It's like we never really know what's going on, and I promise you that, you know, like I think it's naive
That's
of
the
us to
conspiracy
sit here
theory
and
with
say
XRP.
that the U.S. government's really that stupid. They don't know what's happening. They know what's happening. They're doing whatever they're doing that they think is best to get in front of everyone else. Like, I guarantee you that if they're not planning this, then we really should be worried. Is they're just planning, how do we make sure that we're still ahead after all of this happens? Like after all of this truly gets, you know, because if the US announces that they're as bullish on crypto as everybody else, there's no question that the rest of, you know, like
set the
like the US is like they set the standard for everybody else. So if they come out and they all of a sudden say like, we're creating the US dollar, digital dollar, we're doing this, that, and the other, crypto's the future, we're implementing crypto into everything, then all of the monetary systems of so many different countries are going to be just upended. Like, you know, people are just going to stop, you know, and also think about taxes. Like, why would you pay your taxes in dollars, or why would you do anything in dollars when if our government has basically said that they're moving to digital systems because the dollar inflation and
and they have to have all those set in place before that happens. You know?
That's what Coach JV says.
I think they're stalling. I
think they are too.
It's like that's amazing because that's what Coach JV says. Shout out to him. And it's like people think it's conspiracy, and that's why they said that there's lawsuit XRP, and they say that he says
that's for stalling. They're stalling.
XRP is in with the institutions and the banks and the government.
I think
and
so
it's
too.
stalling it to let them build. Let them get to
build a plan. They need a plan.
And
I didn't think everyone was going to wake up that quickly.
And the rest of the world is like, well, we got to get ahead of it. And if we make announcements, nothing really happens to the rest of the world. We make announcements,
right?
So the rest of the world is already doing it. It's only a matter of time before the U.S. says, "All right, we're ready now," and then
open the floodgates.
Just walk over the rope.
and get inside the
Yeah,
club.
I think
get inside the
I
crypto
think they're
club.
stalling as well, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, but as you guys know, negative headlines always outweigh
Yeah,
positive.
That's why they're keeping us
headlines.
distracted with all this, like not FUD, but like all this unnecessary things
Narratives.
that we, like the P word, the C word, the V word, trying to cancel people and things that they're saying in regards of if you're not, you know what I mean? Like they're making it very like making you look this way and worry about the wrong things when there's a whole crazy system being built beneath our feet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can look at sometimes you'll see some altcoins pumping, you'll see some altcoins that are not doing much. And with these three in particular, we got Ankr, we got Stacks. As you guys know, that's the one that gives Bitcoin
really well.
smart contracts. We talked about Stacks the other day going from $1 basically to $2 because of Bitcoin birds.
Yeah.
And then Cardena, which is another one that Dante likes. So we're going to kind of break down why they're rallying as opposed to, other altcoins.
He made a video about it. This is what we're linking to, right?
Yeah, we'll link it. Well, I think
Right there.
it's a tab we can put up there.
Yep.
But Ankr Network, I was in Ankr a long time ago, man. I was in Ankr when Ankr was at like 0.001. And this was before I ever got if I really didn't really understand
I
crypto.
remember that.
And at the time, Ankr just had like a wallet and had like a Web3 decentralized web browser that you can use, and that was their like claim to fame. And I was so new, I was like, man, I'm not holding this shit, and I got out of it. But now you see Ankr partnering with
10
Sacramento
cents.
Kings.
Yeah, the NBA.
It's pretty dope, man. It's pretty dope. It's at 10 cents now, dude. If I would have held it for 10 cents, I would have a pretty substantial bag.
It's designed to use idle computing power from. Oh, I remember this.
I was in Ankr.
I remember this.
You remember?
It's designed to use idle computing power from devices and data centers from around the world to help power the crypto ecosystem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this.
I was in Ankr way before 10 cents, but I didn't understand crypto, bro. I'm gonna be completely honest, transparent with you guys, and tell you the truth. I didn't know shit about crypto, and I freaking
beginning of the year,
I paper hands out of it. Basically, I papered hands. That was just what I did, and good to see Ankr actually doing some good things.
What was it when you bought in?
0.01. No, 0.001.
Was it 1 cent or 001?
No way.
001.
On what? On what did you buy it?
Ankr. I bought that on. Damn, I think it was KuCoin at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
Damn, that sucks. I also bought it early on,
dude. I was hella early on Ankr, and what brought me to it was because it was so cheap. I was like, oh shit, I can accumulate so many of these tokens. And if it just hits $1, the dumb mentality of the meme coins, if it just hits $1, I would have this amount.
That same thing with me with Seller. I sold Seller at before it had its. I mean, it blew up a little bit, but then.
But the thing is that logic has worked for a lot of people too.
Yeah.
Even though it's not the best.
Right.
It's worked
really
for so many
not,
people.
But it has worked.
It's worked for people. So
I mean,
can you really say it? Yeah.
That's when we first started.
I talk crap on the Shiba community a lot, even in my TikTok, and they're like, haha, you're not gonna be laughing, bro, when I got I made 17,000 this year off a $50 investment. And I'm like, okay,
yeah,
well,
and they're right, they did, and that's unfortunate.
They started a YouTube channel.
Do you want a cookie or like?
They started a YouTube channel and they're like, how I made my wealth from sheep, and then they blow up.
Yeah, you better get in the sheep right now because it's gonna blow up, dog. It's like, god damn, dude. It's like you're over here on our channels. We're trying to teach people how to, not get wrecked in the crypto space.
Based off what we learn and everything.
And then you get these people that come in here, put $50, $100, get 1,000 quadrillion tokens, and then just, make almost life-changing money for, majority of people. It's just like, dude, why am I listening to you talk about all this fundamentals and all of this when I could just go over to Joey Blowy and he'll tell me about, Sheeb, and they'll go up 1,000% in a day. It's unfortunate.
It's
but
right.
You should show this. It's
unfortunate
picture real quick. Hold on.
but it is what it is, man. It's just it just is what
You
it
should show
is.
this picture. I sent it to you. And
In
put it
Slack?
on there. Yeah.
Okay, how do I just send
download it and then click
and then
it.
click to open?
Yeah.
Open. There we go.
Look at Dante.
Yeah, that's how it is. This a
Yeah,
13-year-old meme coin investor.
I'm down
My
bad in that
2,000
regard.
hour research crypto portfolio knocked it.
I'm down bad in that regard. I'm
Me
down
too. Me too.
Yeah.
You know, me too.
For our
So
podcast listeners, you guys gotta watch it on YouTube to see that.
yeah, sorry, it was a picture showcasing. It's a 13-year-old meme coin investor, and he knocked out. Is that Dante
Wilder, yeah, Deontay Wilder.
Deontay Wilder, and then he said my 2,000 hours research and crypto portfolio, basically saying like a 13-year-old meme coin investor can just come in and just
Destroy your
Destroy
hours
your
and
nothing.
hundreds of hours research.
hours and hours of research, which is, I mean, technically it's true, you know.
And that's how you got to remember that's like what you have to remember when you are so deep into your, research and your fundamental analysis and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, just because you know as much as you know, or you understand the potential as much as you do,
Yeah,
the market does not. So it's like, you have to separate that. At least that was the struggle for me at first, is like, this stuff is revolutionary, blah, 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 paradigm shifting. Like, why would I had the mentality of, why would I sell these things when I know they're going to do all these things?
right.
The reality is nobody else is looking at it like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to say nobody, but
a lot of people aren't.
A lot
the
of people,
market is
majority.
not looking at it like that. And we know what generation, or like, we know the like kind of society we live in right now is the instant gratification, what's going to get me rich quick type thing.
Facts.
So obviously obviously all the meme coins are going to attract people,
Yep.
and it's going to take some time before there's like an actual feeling of there's people who are using crypto as like an instrument for years and years of growth.
Yep.
Yeah, but the saddest part about the meme coin era though is they'll amass all this money, right? Say, there's a couple people in that space that made millions, quote unquote, right? They take the millions out, put it back into fiat, and then go on, TikTok, Twitter, and doing a little money fan. Yeah, oh, look at it. And then next week you hear an article, oh, dude got robbed.
Yeah.
He was flexing his crypto holdings. He got robbed.
Or he bought a Ferrari or a
You know
Lambo
what
and
I'm
spent all
saying?
his money and it's all gone.
What do you? It is what it is, man.
I mean, it's the same people. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, I mean, it doesn't make sense, but I guess, like, if the only thing you're going to go into crypto for is for the meme coins, and that's the only things you're looking at, then yeah, you're probably, unfortunately, are the same person who will then go and spend your money in a way that is not sustainable, or it's not going to last.
It's like a
And I
once in a
guess
lifetime thing.
just the mentality of you're trying to find and build wealth will eventually lead you to that situation. You'll put yourself in that situation eventually.
Yeah.
Same thing goes for if you're just looking for the quick pump and dump, or you're looking to get into something without any idea of what you're doing. It might work out a few times, but like,
It's
is
gonna
that
catch up to
sustainable?
you
Playing
eventually.
lottery
It's
and
not
you're gambling.
sustainable.
It's not sustainable.
it's
You're
just
gonna
not
lose your. You're
sustainable.
gonna lose your cheeks. That's what's gonna
Yeah,
happen. You're gonna lose your
exactly.
cheeks. You're gonna get rugged. We got rugged. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things, man.
Rug. I feel like whenever you say we got rug, the eyes get big. Rug.
Oh shit. You know what I'm saying? But Stacks is doing pretty good as well, because it advanced towards launching the smart contracts of Bitcoin. Everybody wants Bitcoin to get some smart
Be
contracts,
smart.
do more than what it's actually doing. And Stacks is that application, or that
A lot
cryptocurrency that does that.
of wealthy people, these venture capitalists, asset managers, they love Stacks because it helps their baby Bitcoin.
Yeah. Now we just need to find out which one that makes Bitcoin greener, and then invest into that one, because
Yeah.
Stacks is a good investment. I think.
going green on Bitcoin is that's all you hear. If you listen to the World Economic Forum, if you listen to all of
Paris Climate Agreement.
Paris Climate Agreement, you got Elon Musk saying he doesn't want to accept it until it's greener. If you invest in a cryptocurrency that's gonna make Bitcoin greener, now we don't know if that's gonna be the only
Or
one.
any crypto that's greener.
You can't lose.
Engine, like there's a lot of them out there that are eco-friendly.
Yep.
Any eco-friendly crypto is actually going to be safe too.
Now I didn't know this about Cardena, and you
What,
did a video
Dante?
about Cardena, right?
Is it
did,
Kadena?
yes.
Is it
Kadena.
Kadena? Okay. Yeah, so
Kadena.
Kadena added NFT capabilities, which is, pretty cool. I don't know really much about Cardena. I'm going to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
We'll have
So
to-
can you kind of explain Cardena for all the people who don't understand it? Me included.
Yes. So very simply, and I don't know, I haven't done like the deep dive into it with everything, but I
Right.
know enough to explain what the value of it is. And essentially what Kadena is it's just another proof of work layer one.
Mm-hmm.
So compared to I guess, compared to all of the ones we were just talking about, Cardano, AVAX, Solana, etc.
Yeah.
But the difference is it's not proof of stake, right? Which is what all these other platforms are coming out with now. It's proof of work, but it also uses something similar to DAG, or basically DAG in the sense that it's infinitely scalable.
Yeah.
And so it uses something called Chainweb, which allows for basically for it to be more greener, run smart contracts, be infinitely scalable, but it has the security and the robustness of Bitcoin. And
Oh, nice.
why I'm so like, of course, there's so many layer ones,
Right.
but why
Yeah.
specifically this one is because I said this in the video too, the most cited individual who's actually like, his title is co-founder of blockchain, which is nuts.
Wow.
Most cited individual in the Satoshi Nakamoto white paper for Bitcoin is an advisor to this project, and as far as I know, is not an advisor to any other project. And basically what Kadena is doing is realizing the vision of what Bitcoin was supposed to be, because Bitcoin was supposed to be able to run smart contracts off the rip, but
Yeah.
Right.
it didn't get there. And so this is the natural progression of Bitcoin, which is why I'm like, well, that's,
Okay.
that's different to every other
Yeah.
layer one.
right.
That's
Yeah.
basically doing
Yeah.
what instead of, and that's why and again, I also mentioned this in the video. If you have been following the narrative of proof of stake versus proof of work in the SEC, especially, Gary Gensler, the SEC is very skeptical of proof of work, or not proof of work, proof of stake. But they're very bullish on proof of work. Like, they're for proof of work because
Yeah.
of Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Right.
So that's why I'm very bullish now on Kadena, because I'm like, either they already know about it or they're going to eventually find out about it. And also the people who made JPM coin. So they're the people who founded Kadena. They're,
Oh, I think that's where I've
they're-
seen them
yeah.
before then. 'Cause I
and
remember
they
seeing
got
that.
to, the other interesting thing is the founders got to vet all of these other projects that JPM were, getting, basically. And they got to use all the information they gathered there from, basically, banks we can consider as some of the most powerful institutions in the United States.
Right.
So they had all that inside information, and then after all of that, went and made Kadena. So they basically are saying that this is the solution to all of the problems that we were seeing in all of the projects we were presented as, options for JPM to go into or invest in or support. So basically, they're saying that they went private, they went out of JPM and created what they believe is the solution to everything that JPM and all of these other institutions need. It's specifically targeting global financial institutions. So I'm thinking to myself, like, there's a chance that that's going to be a very good long-term play. And if
Yeah.
I was going to
Wow.
invest in a layer one, I also said this in the video, it's either Luna in the top 15 is the only thing I'm interested in.
Mhm.
And then other than that, for layer ones, I like Kadena.
Wow.
That's dope, man.
Powerful.
I didn't know much about it, but hey, I feel like
Now-
I'm an expert now.
Now they have
Yeah,
NFT.
that's all you really need to know. You don't need to know much more other than the
Right.
fact that you see who they're working with and who they already have on their team. And you're just like, well, this seems like kind of a no-brainer. And then you do understand the narrative, and then it's like, okay, maybe.
Right.
And the interesting thing is now they're able to get into NFT world because
Which-
they add
which
NFT capabilities.
Everybody wants to get in the
I feel
NFT
like-
world.
Every crypto that's gonna survive long term needs to have DeFi capabilities where you can make money off of it, right? Of its ecosystem, as well as NFTs.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Now there was a comment that asked us, specifically about time. We mentioned it briefly, and we said that we're gonna deep dive into it. Dante already did a video on it, and so let me read this.
Zach
Shout out to
D.
Zach. He said, Crypto Logic podcast, no problem. Thank you. I think he responded
Yeah.
to something John said. But he said, thank you both for doing this. Can you guys talk about Time, Wonderland sometime, or any other similar project? You guys briefly mentioned it, but I'm not sure if you went into detail in the past, as I'm fairly new sub. So thank you so much, Zach, for being a sub for to the channel. But we're gonna kind of let Dante kind of explain Time.
If we're gonna mention time,
We gotta
Yeah.
include Dante because he was the one who brought it to us.
yeah.
So Dante, can you kind of talk about Time and kind of give an understanding
Put him on the spot.
to where people can kind of understand Time? I know you don't want to deep dive because you already did a deep dive.
Yeah, we'll link the video.
We'll
and then-
link that
yeah.
video. Yeah. Sorry. We'll link the video. Sorry to cut you off, John. And then we'll let you speak about time, Dante.
Yeah. So very simply, I guess you can look at it like this. There are like different protocols that we've had for DeFi that exist. One of them, we obviously have like the liquidity pools that are part of like things like Uniswap and all these decentralized exchanges.
Right.
But the yield that is given through yield farming from liquidity pools is not sustainable, in the sense that like most of the time when you're early on a liquidity pool, the APY is very high. And then naturally, as it gets saturated, it goes down to a point where, the percentages are not much different than anything in the real world where it makes sense to put in that risk, especially with something like Ethereum and gas fees. It's like even just the fees to put your assets into a liquidity pool is almost not worth it. But long story short, what Time has done, or Ohm specifically, Olympus DAO has done, is using game theory, which is why it's so interesting. They've basically created an ecosystem where each user is supposedly able to garner enough value, whether it be getting a discounted rate on Time tokens by locking their assets in the treasury, or by staking their assets, whether it be Olympus or whatever, and earning an APY. Because the APY is so high, there's no incentive for them to sell out and unlock that liquidity. And then the same thing goes for the people who are locking their liquidity in the treasury. So essentially, they're just trying to build a massive treasury in which everybody who's involved in the treasury is continuously locking up their assets to keep the treasury level stable, but still getting enough value out of the treasury so that there's never an incentive for any side of the system to basically like take out all their assets and destroy the growth of the system. So it's really like, that's why people call it a Ponzi, because it really is, in the sense that like, not that it's a Ponzi, it's the idea of the more people who are involved, the more amount of assets that are in the treasury, the more secure it becomes.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that if people start leaving the ecosystem that there's still no value. It's all about, all right, if there's less money in the treasury, the APY is higher on the assets that you're staking. So if all of a sudden the price of Time starts going down, the APY rises, so that you're still, at some point, you have to look very far in the future. At some point, it's going to be so saturated in the treasury that you're actually never going to lose value. It'll stay continuous. Like, say you have a stream of income from staking that's worth $300. At one point or another, millions, tens of millions of dollars could leave the ecosystem, and nothing will happen to that continuous stream of income, because the APY has risen enough so that you're basically earning a stable yield.
Yeah,
got it. So it kind of balances itself out.
Exactly. It's all supposed to work in a way where you're not affected by market volatility. You're not affected by price of the actual asset. And that's nothing I've ever seen in DeFi before. And that's what I imagined is the perfect DeFi ecosystem. Like, if you think about it, like, crypto should be able to create a system in which we're basically just printing money and it works for everybody. And you, like, when you change the mind, I think it's also just the mindset of how is it possible that someone can earn 9,000, 10,000 APY? It should be possible, because that means that the ecosystem is doing its job. It's very valuable to be a part of that ecosystem. So now it's like DeFi, like, that's the great thing about what is happening right now, is that these decentralized autonomous organizations, they're all DAOs. So Olympus DAO, Time is also going to be a DAO. The thing is, it's like, this could either be the start of these are the blue chip, like treasury, digital reserve currency ecosystems, or there's going to be something that even improves upon what like Olympus has created.
Right.
And either way, it's going to change the way everybody looks at money. I think it's the idea of money as a resource rather than the kind of end all be all of everything you're doing.
Right.
Will change because of passive income. Like, people won't worry about money because it's
They'll
just
consistently
going to
be making it.
They're just going to be able to make it by distributing their computing power, distributing their whatever it may be over the internet. Like, it's not going to matter anymore what you're actually doing. You're not going to have to take time out of your day to make that money. It's just going to be something that, because you're reliable enough to stake your assets into a contract, they trust you enough to give you something back in return. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah, and that's one of those things, man, that I feel like a lot of people in the crypto space don't really know about. You know, it's like me personally, up until about a week ago, I didn't even know nothing about DeFi. Like I hear the term DeFi and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll use Ethereum because it's decentralized, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't really know DeFi, like
The yield
the
and the stake,
potential money
yeah.
that you can
Yeah.
make in DeFi, man. It's
A
like,
lot of people don't.
it's
It's crazy.
mind blowing. And you know, here on our channel, you know, with DeFi included, with Dante, with
Half of
Dante
his name.
DeFi included, you know, our goal is to bring you guys, you know, these projects and have an understanding of, you
There's a
know,
lot of them.
it's not just buy and hold, it's not just buy and sell. There's a whole nother thing that we haven't even touched.
And then that's like what I've been thinking is like, okay, like when the people got into crypto, people buy and sell, buy and hold, and then NFTs came around, and that was like a whole nother lane
Yep.
of people that love crypto, but they're just
Yeah.
only focused on the NFTs. They only focus on Solana and Ethereum and et cetera, and they just want to buy NFTs and play games or whatever, pictures, whatever, do all that stuff. And I love NFTs. And then now there's this layer. I mean, I think it's been around for a while, but it's like very, very indie, right? It's very low key, I would say, right?
For what, DeFi?
DeFi, yeah.
Yeah.
Yield farming and staking. There's
Definitely low key.
there's
for
a
sure.
whole
Yeah.
bridge of things that's happening underneath that a lot of people just need to take a look, and then you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
Before it
yeah.
becomes mainstream.
once you see DeFi and potentially where it could go,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it just, it's like a tunnel vision. Like, oh my
That's exactly.
God.
I mean, that's exactly what happened to me. Like basically, what
Yeah.
you're going through right now is exactly what I went down the rabbit hole in my head of where this can go. And you know, people are talking about sound money. What is more sound than, you know, your money is making you money and you're doing nothing other than it's just sitting there? That is sound money. That is, you know, I can't think of a better way to utilize DeFi. And the thing is, like DeFi, you can't like yield farming, all those things. Those were, you know, that's not what DeFi is limited to. I think everyone's realizing that too. Like DeFi can literally be you supporting a network's existence, like that is an internet protocol, like this, the equivalent to an internet protocol that right now, currently in Web 2.0, we're not getting any value from the network in terms of a return. That's what, you know, the Verizons, the Sprints, whoever set up that network, those centralized entities are making all of the money
Yeah.
from
Yep.
supporting those networks. So
Yep.
now think about the fact that in a decentralized world, any individual who supports the network can make money off of supporting the network. It's like it has nothing to do with
And it's an ecosystem.
you know, having these massive, you know, infrastructures that only a corporation or a company can have.
Right.
And that really has nothing to do with finance. That's just you creating value for yourself by creating value for a network. It's very like,
Yeah.
it's just like,
it's like the Brave
it's
browser. You
Exactly,
know,
yeah.
if you use the Brave browser, you get a passive income in a sense of BAT token. You know, you get free BAT
Yeah.
token. It's not a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're gonna be a millionaire off of it. But you know, once I switched to the Brave browser, I made like a couple bucks. You know what I'm saying?
Me too.
I could buy some Starbucks.
I just switch it over and I buy more crypto with it.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been
So
buying
it's-
HBAR with it.
it's just massive. It's just a massive world, guys. And honestly, we want to bring you guys along because I mean, John always talks about, you know, the book of Eli. Once the bear market comes, what are you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, everyone's gonna be
Everyone's
looking
gonna be
for water, food. It's gonna be a
scrambling.
wasteland.
So you
Yeah.
know, we're trying to, you know, innovate, bring as much value as possible. You know, with Dante, we're really happy that, you know, when we reached out to him, he was very welcoming to us. No matter if we had 2 subscribers, 100 subscribers, he was like,
I
"Look,
think we
bro,
had like 300.
I'm down." And he didn't have to do that. And, you know, ever since it's been just an amazing time. So first off, we want to thank you, Dante, again for coming on to the show, brother.
Thank you guys.
We really
man, of course.
appreciate you.
Thank you guys.
And if you guys don't know who Dante is, or you guys are listening on, you know, Apple Podcasts or whatever you're listening
Spotify.
to, it's Dante DeFi. It's his YouTube channel, so you guys want to definitely go check him out there. If you are on YouTube, all of his links will be down in the description down below, so you can go ahead and click those and, you know, subscribe to him if you're not, like all of his videos, things of that nature. You know, leave comments in his comment section and ask him questions about, you know, the things
Yeah.
that you want. You know what I'm saying? We're not mind readers, so we can't just put out topics randomly. You know, if you want, just like you know, shout out to Zach, he asked us about time. So we're like, hey, okay, Dante knows
Yep.
about time, so we're gonna, ask those questions.
Dante taught us how to showed us how to basically load up the funds and etc. And then we've been making money through our time holding and staking as well, right? The yielding and everything like that as well.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. It worked. It worked.
So if we
It
all get
works.
rugged, we get rugged together.
Yeah,
That's
we
the
get
point,
rugged
guys.
together, yep.
That's the point.
Exactly.
We get rugged
Rugged together.
But the most important
And it
thing
works.
about that is, though, we didn't invest money that we needed right back, and we didn't invest
Yeah.
money that we weren't prepared to lose, right? So we understand that is the two premise thing, the two fundamentals that you have to kind of live by, especially if you're going to get into crypto right now. While regulation is not with decentralization, you're not going to have that regulation anyway, but you have to understand that, And here on our channel, here on on Dante's channel, we have these conversations about this stuff. And if you guys want to be enlightened and have these conversations as well, then definitely subscribe to our channel, subscribe to Dante, follow us on all our social medias. If you look right underneath John, you'll see our Twitter, our TikTok, our Instagram. Right under me right here, you guys will see our public Discord.
Dante's gonna be in there soon.
Dante soon will get in there.
Technical difficulties.
People
man.
are
Discord
waiting
gotta-
for him to get in there.
Yeah, we
Discord gotta
have.
help me out.
I think we have
Yeah.
almost like 280 people in there right now.
they're like, "Where's
That's
Dante?"
crazy.
yeah.
280.
280 people right now, and everyone helps everyone out, and it's really a fun place to go, a fun place to be, and it's like we're building a community, building a family around it, and we definitely want you guys to be a part of it. So like I said before, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.
And it goes a little something